Hello and welcome to the Startline podcast with me, Beth Espy. This is where we get behind the scenes with road racers, from signing up for events and prepping their bikes to finding the funds and making the dream a reality. We're going to follow riders all with one goal in sight: to line up at the Manx Grand Prix in 2026. Thank you so much for downloading this episode of Startline. And I think I've probably mentioned this before, but this podcast was all about giving riders a platform just to talk about their career so far, their aspirations. And obviously, most of the people that we've spoken to so far want to be at Manx Grand Prix 2026. And I think it's just fascinating how different everyone's story is, although the ultimate aim is the same. And we're going to meet somebody else now who wants to be at the MGP next year. So this is Jordan Larkin. He's from Northern Ireland. And we're also going to speak to his girlfriend, Olivia Quinn. And they both discuss their aspirations in motorcycle racing. Olivia's developed a little bit of a passion of her own. They share their insights into their racing backgrounds, the emotional challenges of supporting each other in this sport, and also, again, the importance of community and sponsorship, which comes up time and time again. So I first asked Jordan when he decided to enter the Manx.
In August, when I was at the Manx helping a mate and seeing it all happen, I was like, I have to do this.
And Olivia, what was your reaction to that?
It was actually me who brought him over to speak to Milky initially. I'd worked there the year before, so I'd done security. So I'd kind of worked with Milky, obviously, setting up and things like that. And then Jordan had gone, you know what, I really, really want to do this. And I went, do you know what, Milky's standing over there. He's got a free moment. I'll see if I'll get him talking. And he just stood there talking away. And he just went, you know what, I'm going to do this. It's 100%. As a partner, you're kind of like, you don't want them to do something so scary. But at the same time, it's a dream he wants to do. And I'm not going to stand in the way of something as big as doing the Manx Grand Prix.
So Jordan, tell us a little bit then about your racing history and what you've done so far.
I've raced from I was a child, mini motos, just all the way through to 600. And then started racing just a couple of years ago, decided to give Cookstown a go, and sort of went at it from there.
And I guess that's, I mean, I don't know roughly how far away that is, but some of that is pretty much on your doorstep, I guess.
Yeah, it's not overly far. Cookstown's not too far. Ormoy's a good bit away. But everyone's sort of close enough by.
And did you grow up then in a house where biking was a big sort of activity that you all did, or is it something that you've just kind of found on your own?
Yeah, we were all sort of into it. Everybody's had a go at it, from my granddad, my uncles, my dad, my brothers, me. So we're all mad for it.
I guess that must make it easier in some ways because you all kind of understand each other and understand why you want to do it.
Yeah, well, most of the time.
And what about you, Olivia? Do you ride at all, or is it just the other side of things?
I do now. After going to the Manx, I kind of just fell in love with it. It was never a big family thing. Like, we would have gone to the Northwest 200 now and again. But in regards to short circuit racing, I wasn't overly aware that it was a thing here in Northern Ireland. And I'd kind of decided when I came back, I would try and do the pit bike racing for a while. And then shortly after, I'd met Jordan and things kind of aligned, and I went for my race license. And initially I didn't get it the first time, but I continued to do quite a couple of track days and eventually got it in May last year and just continued doing more track days. And I did do a race at the end of the year, but unfortunately it didn't end the way I wanted it to. But for next year, I definitely would like to do a couple more. And it's a good bit of fun. And I love the community of it more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, we keep hearing about that, just how amazing everybody is in this sort of this space, really. But do you think maybe there's anything else on the horizon for you potentially in the future?
I'm not 100% sure at the minute. I had spoke to, there's a couple of girls in England and a free tech team over there, and they were looking to do a women's related team for girls who had only kind of, you know, started out or were mainly road like riders. They were never done track days. So there's a couple of dates at the end of next year. I think it's only riding like a 125 free tech bike, so something very small, which would be suited to myself at my level. So I don't know. I'll see how things go next year, and, you know, things align. I would love to do it because it'd be something completely different.
Yeah, definitely. And it must be really interesting, I suppose, supporting Jordan through this. And obviously it's a bit of the waiting game at the moment to see what's going to happen next year. But I just wonder from your point of view, what it is like sitting on the sidelines, watching him go out. What goes through your head?
It's very like surreal sometimes. Like, sometimes it doesn't bother me at all. But I suppose first, it was back in maybe June, I did witness a first crashed, and it was probably the only crash he had this year, I think. It was just one. But it was a bit of a shock to see that, and it did kind of take me back and go, like, that's obviously somebody I love and care about. But, you know, it was brilliant to like look after him after it, and obviously see him get back on the bike again, and the determination, especially because I think it was Armoy was shortly after it, and he wasn't able to compete, and instead we ended up marshalling at it. So it was good to see that side of things, but obviously I could see how disappointed Jordan was with not being able to get out. So obviously as a partner, it was kind of disheartening that he wasn't able to be out there. But no, at the end of the day, it's brilliant because I'm just proud of him, because it's nice to be with somebody who has such a passion for something like such as motorsport, where other people are going, oh my goodness, how are you with somebody who does something so crazy?
And Jordan, for you, I mean, Olivia's just sort of saying just how difficult it was to see you when you couldn't get out there and race. What is it like for you when you're in that position?
The jealousy really gets to me. So I could be sitting watching and I'd be thinking, I really wish I was out doing this rather than sitting here watching everybody else enjoy themselves. When I could have been doing it myself.
Yeah, it must be really difficult. And, you know, I guess for some people it makes them a little bit grumpy, but I'm sure that doesn't happen in your world. So just talk us through then, when you decided that Manx Grand Prix was going to happen, hopefully, that it was the right time for you. How did you decide that?
I think it was after I'd done Tandragee, I was thinking about it because I was talking to a few people about it. And Tandragee is sort of, from what I've heard, is like a miniature Manx, just because of how fast and flowing it is. I thought I'd really enjoyed Tandragee. I think I would really enjoy the Manx.
And obviously you have been over here. How many laps of the course would you say you've been able to do, if any, at the moment?
Not so many when I was over there, solely when I were as a foot passenger, but I did get one lap around in the car, and then for sort of a wee bit of an obsession with the Xbox game.
That was going to be my next question. Is there an Xbox in that lounge somewhere?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you both play it? Are you a bit competitive on it?
I'd be competitive on it with my brother, but Olivia can't seem to get the corner in parts.
I can't seem to stay on the bike. It's, you know, no, a wee bit more ride 5, less the actual TT game. It's not for me.
So then, Jordan, how else are you learning the course? Obviously, I mean, things like onboards. Do you watch a lot of those?
I watch a few onboards, bits and pieces, mostly slower ones, because I hear that's the best way to sort of pick it up. I tried watching Davy Todd's from inside the helmet. That's a bit, you're not really picking anything up from that.
It's great that there are so many available, I suppose, and it gives you a real sense, but nothing is going to beat, I suppose, getting over here and doing those laps yourself. How will that work if fingers crossed, you get that entry, being able to get over here and things like, I mean, I don't know, what do you do for a day job?
Self-employed van driver, so I don't do a whole pile, I suppose.
But then at least you've got that flexibility, haven't you? Because that's going to be really important.
Yeah, it means getting the 2 weeks off or getting any time off for racing or track days isn't an issue, so kind of fits well with the race season.
And how have you found things like sponsorship? We know how expensive this sport is. I mean, does seem to be a fair few people out there who want to support people doing it, but as we always hear, it's a really difficult conversation to have, isn't it?
Definitely is. I wouldn't really ask too many people, just a couple that have helped me through the years, but I wouldn't be the most outgoing person to go out and ask for anything, really.
But what difference does it make when people do support you?
Massive. It's the difference between going out on a tyre that's closer to the end of its life or a brand new tyre and being able to go a wee bit harder. I had a few sponsors come on board this year, which I'm very grateful for. Sol Boyle's Coaching, Centra A1, Tailored Automotive, McDowell's Garage, Brat Moto, Tandragee Motorworks, AJSC Electrical, and Full Sail Stew. Really appreciate these guys coming on board this year, as it makes such a difference having that extra bit of help.
And I'm looking just at your wall behind you there, and there's some photographs. Is there a photograph of you on the wall?
There is. It's actually my wall. There's a photo of me and Jordan, and it's got me and him on the grid before one of his races, and then the T-shirt is actually from the Isle of Man, from the TT this year, that I had signed by quite a few of the riders that were racing. Obviously, we were going to raffle it this Christmas for sponsorship, but in the end, the two of us just didn't really want to part with it because it has, you know, so many memorable riders' names on it, and I just thought it's lovely to have at home. So sometimes I think you kind of have to keep wee pieces of, you know, good memories that involve the racing as well.
I'm just constantly amazed by how many people I speak to who obviously don't live over here on the island, but have got little pieces of the island there. And it just seems to mean so much to so many people.
Definitely. Like, I only went and worked there last August, and I think I've been back on the island 4 times. So I'd made friends with a girl over there, and she lives there, and was lucky enough, stayed in contact. I came back for the TT. I came back, stayed for the Manx. I went and obviously was there while we were helping our friend. And, it's brilliant to have that contact as well, because obviously she said, if Jordan gets accepted, you can come over. She's kept some of our stuff there as well. So if there's things we need, there's stuff there. So, the Manx people are brilliant themselves. They're always jumping to give help to especially the bikers and anybody that comes over, be it Manx or TT season. It's a lovely atmosphere to be around.
And Jordan, you were talking about helping your friend out when you were over here. Are you quite hands-on then with your own sort of mechanicking and that side of things?
Yeah, definitely would be, because there's only me and my brother out, and it's only me, my brother and my granddad work on the bikes, so he's sort of split between the two, so the more I can do to my own, the better.
And so has your granddad got a bit of a racing history as well?
I think he's done a wee bit, I'm not too sure. He's a history with parade laps.
So, well, it's lovely though, isn't it, having those relationships in the family as well, because it's a real bonding experience, I guess.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, yeah.
And it's brilliant as well, because I have very little knowledge of bikes, so his granddad's a amazing help even with me. They all kind of take me under their wing and go, right, we're going to show you what they actually do here so you can do it yourself.
And I suppose it must be really important for you two to have this shared interest, because it can be quite divisive in some relationships if one person's completely obsessed about it and I guess the other person doesn't really understand why. But to both have that interest must make things a little bit easier. I'm guessing it might not. I don't know.
I think it's probably going to be a while to get used to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think my weekends kind of went from going out in the car and going for drives to watching MotoGP, BSB and World Superbike at the weekend. So it's not the bikes live revving loud in my ear at the track. They're revving full blast out of the soundbar in the living room TV. So it is brilliant, but sometimes it's good to have that bit of downtime and do things that aren't bike related as well.
I don't think so.
Have you got any other hobbies?
Well, not overly. I think we went and watched. We've been trying other things that haven't been bike related. Like we went and played golf one weekend, and we'd Googled what the average shot was for a beginner golf player, and we were like miles off it. And his achievement of the day was shooting a golf ball as far as his race number. And then we went and watched the ice hockey last weekend, and he enjoyed it, but I got quite bored halfway through it. So I was like, I don't think we found anything quite as interesting as the motorbikes.
Good to try other stuff though and think, yeah, okay, I'm quite happy with what we've got. Jordan, if all goes to plan, then what would you like to be racing next year? Which classes are you looking at?
Senior and super sport, definitely in the 600. I have got 2 600s, could part with one for a twin, but it's the one I've done my first road race on, so I'd rather just keep it in the yards if I can.
Yeah, that's difficult, isn't it? And again, you're at the point where I suppose you can't really make any firm decisions until you know what's happening. But have you got sponsorship sorted for that? I know we talked about you've got some people who do help you out.
Well, I've got nothing sorted for next year yet. Just we'll figure it out once I know the plans for definite.
And when you were talking to Milky, did he have any particular advice that you thought, oh yeah, that sounds sensible?
It was just more of what you need before you go over. It's just a bit of road race experience and bit of racing history with good results.
And there's also the regulation side of stuff, isn't there? And I don't know what that's like, but we sort of hear so much about sometimes they change and whatever. How up to date are you with that side of things?
I would sort of be on what they would call like an old generation super sport. It's none of this new gen stuff, but it's pretty much all I can have on my budget. And for the first year at the Manx, it's all learning anyway. It's not really going out to get a result.
And then in terms of the team, I mean, would you have your granddad, obviously Olivia, with you, your brother, anybody else that you're going to be dragging along with you?
Pretty much only my family and then a couple of mates maybe.
You'll owe them some pints.
Yeah, if you ever get off work.
Be a whole camper full at some point, I'd say.
And, sort of growing up, as we mentioned, like your part of the world is so well known for producing some incredible races. Is that sort of world that you'd like to have been in?
As every kid's dream at the beginning, but then as you get older, the realization sets in that's not possible.
And then thinking about social media, you either love it or hate it, don't you? You either love putting yourself out there and saying, this is what I've done. I'm getting the sense, Jordan, that perhaps this might not be your bag.
It's more Olivia's thing. I kind of have a racing page set up. I just don't really post on it. And then if I do, it's probably Olivia.
But I guess, Olivia, you recognise the importance of getting your name out there and sort of making people aware of what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing for me, and like I would no means call myself an influencer or anything, but like I built up a wee bit of a following on TikTok, and I kind of thought after I'd started the bikes, I went, I want to share that with more people. And I obviously noticed when I did go down to watch it, I became friends with a girl at the track, and I went like, there's very few women even here actually do it. And I just kind of was like, if I can inspire a couple more girls to enjoy doing it, even if I am abysmal half the time, I've had younger kids at the pit bike track stop and go, oh, we'll give you a hand. But at the end of the day, they're still like, oh, she's blooming class for even giving it a go. And I'm like, getting your name out there. And, it's the simple things like I've just said, like sometimes I would help him write a race report because I'm like, you don't know who'd see it. Or even through TikTok, I had somebody reach out to me and they offered to pay for a back protector for me when I couldn't afford it. And that's why I said to Jordan, I went, you don't have to necessarily be asking, but even just putting yourself out there, talking about why you enjoy it, there are people that do want to just help the working class folk who want to ride a motorbike.
I think, yeah, because people get a lot of pleasure out of watching it, don't they? And without people like you, then people don't have that sort of enjoyment. And these are the people who probably would never dream of doing it themselves. But I think, Olivia, you mentioned, women in this sport. Obviously, if you get over here and are able to go to the Newcomer weekends, Jordan, obviously Carolyn Sells is one of the instructors. I mean, she's just fantastic. She's obviously got that win. And that is really inspirational. But you're kind of like, why aren't more girls and women into it? Why is it seen to be such a male-dominated area?
Yeah, we've actually had this conversation quite a few times, and even like a sciencey mind in my head, I kind of would love to, stick the top women from the Women's World Championship out with a couple of World Superbike guys and go, what is it? Is it fear? Is it the whole nature, nurture with, the genetic difference between a man and a woman? Is there a fear thing that maybe stops women pushing just that bit harder? And it doesn't mean that we can't give it a go and try just as hard. But I don't know. I think ultimately sometimes it might just come down to the natural thing of men might just be better at motorsport than women, but it doesn't mean that there aren't women out there that are blooming amazing at it. But no, definitely, I think if I could get a couple of more girls, and I've said before, like his younger sister, I think she's even wanted to give a track day at least a go. So if it's one person convinced, that's enough for me.
And Jordan, would you describe yourself as an adrenaline junkie? Is that what it is for you?
Yeah, I would say so. If there's speed involved or anything a wee bit dangerous, like I'd pretty much sign up for it straight away.
What's your earliest biking related memory?
I got a PW50 for Christmas one year. I was 4 years old. Me and my brother had it. We had to learn how to ride that, and that was the start of everything, really.
A bit of fighting between you over it, or were you both, quite generous with it?
No, we were all right with that one. It's whenever I come to racing mini motos, when we were sharing a bike and he crashed it, I missed a couple of races. There was maybe a couple of wee fights, but nothing massive.
You've forgotten about it now. Don't even think about it. Well, do you know what? It's brilliant talking to both of you. I'm going to ask where we can follow you on social media, knowing probably Jordan, we're probably going to follow Olivia a little bit more maybe, but where are you?
Probably more interesting.
Yeah, so for anyone who wants to follow us on social media, we both have racing pages on Facebook. Mine's is Liv Quinn Racing and Jordan's is Jordan Larkin Racing. And I also have TikTok as well, which is just Liv Q Racing 999, which is my race number. And obviously over there, I've plenty of videos from racing this year for Jordan's, be it the road races. And then hopefully if he gets accepted for the Manx, there'll be plenty of videos posted of us while we're over there and how he's getting on. So
just finally, guys, how are the next few weeks and Christmas looking like for you? What are you up to?
Well, we'd made a roast dinner at the weekend and put the Christmas tree up. I think that's as far as we've got. There's Christmas presents and all. I haven't begun looking at. I think we've settled on a limit of what we'll spend on each other, but it's gone no further than that. And then come Christmas, I'll probably spend my day with my family and then probably go up to his in the evening. So split it between both.
Well, it was brilliant talking to you. Fingers crossed for the best news possible, and hopefully we'll see you over here again soon.
Yes, thank you very much for having us, and fingers crossed.
Olivia Quinn and Jordan Larkin. And again, you can find the links to their social media on the podcast page. So do give them a follow. Probably more Liv than Jordan. No, I'm joking. I'm sure Jordan's all over it by now. But it'd be great to see how they do over the next 12 months. So we're going to hear again now from another MGP newcomer this year who's going to give us a bit of an insight into what he wished he'd known before he set out for the first time on the mountain course. This is Manx rider Dale Brew.
One thing that I wish I'd known about before the Manx Grand Prix, and it's something that's not really talked about often, is the MGP blues. The aftermath of the event, you've just spent 10 days, 2 weeks, full throttle, your head's going 10 to the dozen constantly. And it's something that you've built up for, in my case, years wanting to do this event. And it all comes to an end. And all of a sudden, everything comes crashing down. And it's quite difficult, or in my case, it was quite hard to get over and adjust to going back to normality. I mean, for myself, I'm self-employed, work on my own. So during the days afterwards, I had nobody to talk to, and you don't know what's happened, like where you've been for the past 2 weeks.
Dale Brew there. And yeah, I think the blues is a real thing, isn't it? You speak to anybody connected with the Manx Grand Prix, whether they're riding or whether they're involved in the organisation, and those first few days after it's ended, yeah, the mood's pretty low. You can find the links to Dale Brew's social media on the podcast page, so do give him a follow. Thank you very much indeed for listening to this episode of Startline. Do take some time to find the riders on social media. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you'd like to get in touch with me and be part of the podcast in the future, you can email beth@startline.im. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.